Good evening, Heart for the Community Initiative, to all of our onlookers on Facebook and on YouTube. God bless you and welcome back to another episode of the Heart for the Community Initiative interview series. Today, we are bringing back our series, A Real Talk for Women. We did a few episodes earlier this year, and we were purposely trying to deal with some subjects very helpful specifically to women, and it was very successful. But so much craziness broke out in our nation with racial injustice and all of this election to and fro, and so we didn't get diverted, but we dealt with the necessities of the hour. So we want to get back on track with this. There's much interest, and our attempt in this series called "A Real Talk for Women" is to really bring forth difficult subjects and give our panel an opportunity to have their say on it, and also to give our audience a point of view. Today we have stepped all in the deep with our subject for today: uh, angry black woman versus strong black woman. What's the difference? And just before we jump into it, I want to set this up. We'll bring the panel in just a minute. And good evening, Miss Joy. Good evening, Miss Tina. God bless y'all. Just want to let you know we're dealing with the stigma that many of our black women deal with, in the corporate world. Once you get that stigma of being an angry black woman, it's difficult to shake it and it's difficult to progress. And in relationships, personal relationships, whether it be a friendship or romantic relationships, I know that our sisters struggle. So I have a wonderful cast this evening. We have Miss Nicole from Newport News, Hampton. We have Kimberly Cates Bell, I believe, here in Stafford. And we also have Elisa Middleton here in the Stafford area. Good evening, ladies. How y'all doing?
Good evening.
Good
Now y'all
evening.
work with us. Miss Kim was having some technical difficulties with her sound, so we're gonna ask Miss Nicole to introduce herself first to our audience. Tell us something about herself. Then we'll come to Elisa, and hopefully Kim's sound will be right by then, and we'll go to Kim last. All right, Nicole, please tell us something about yourself.
Hey, everybody.
All right,
Speak.
Kim, that might be you, my dear. All right, we're
All
working with it.
right.
This is live TV. Everything is possible.
Sounds
There
good.
you go, Nicole.
Hey, everybody. I'm Nicole, aka Coach Nick E. And I am in Hampton, Virginia. I am a coach. I am a podcaster. I am a serial entrepreneur. And I'm just excited to be here, a wife, mother of three, and truly, truly enjoy what Carl's conversation brings to the table. So just looking forward to being here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Miss Elisa, tell us something about
Hi.
yourself.
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa Middleton, and I am the founder of the United Black Council here out of Stafford, Virginia. And I also a co-host of a podcast, Two Mics Up. And as usual, Carl and Tisha, I am always thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. All right, Miss Kimberly, tell the audience something about yourself, my friend.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Everybody can
we can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Okay, good. I am Kimberly Cates Bell. As you stated, I am in Stafford. I am the wife and mother of three children, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
all right, y'all. It is a possibility that Kim may have to leave a little early, so we're gonna make sure we get every drop out of her before she got to go. All right, ladies, if you don't mind. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce my beautiful, wonderful, spectacular wife. Look,
All
I
of
know
that.
her name today. Most time I can't remember her name. Her name is Tisha. And I tell women, do not get offended. I do not forget to pay the bills. I don't forget to love on her. I just can't remember her name. Now y'all charge it to my head and not my, but I love her. I
AKA, that's why he called me honey baby sugar, sweet fat honey.
love her.
Yes, he is my husband, AKA my chocolate love muffin. my partner in crime, and Mr. Carl's Conversations.
There we go. All right. So here we go, ladies. I want to jump right into it. And Miss Kimberly, I'm gonna start with you on this one. Angry black woman versus strong black woman. What is the difference according to Kimberly?
Mm. You know what? I don't even really know if I know the the distinguishing factor of an angry black woman. I think that we have had that stigma, and I don't necessarily know that it's something that it actually exists, to be honest with you. So I would just say that the strength of a black woman in itself, um, just with our strength in our nature and our character, being able to hold our own, and we uplift and hold others as well. So, I mean, we've had a lot to deal with. You know, going back to slavery, seeing our children ripped from our arms, our husbands, seeing them beaten and killed and hung. So we've had a lot that we've had to put on our shoulders. So, like for an example, I think people have mentioned like, why is it that when you look at some older pictures, you don't see Harriet Tubman and some of the others, Sojourner Truth, and others smiling in those pictures? I mean, because at that time it was really not that much to smile about, you know, because it was a lot of unrest that was going on. So I really don't buy into the angry black woman.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your explanation of that. All right, Miss Elisa Middleton. Angry black woman versus strong black woman. What's the difference?
I have to agree. I don't know if there is a versus, because women in general, we are human beings and we come with a lot of emotions that anyone that is breathing life come with. We're put under this category that we can't be angry because for whatever reason, being an angry black woman invokes fear in some other people. For I don't know where that comes from and why, but we're unable to be our authentic self. And being strong is something that you had to do. You had to be strong to endure. But again, being a strong black woman, just to me, it limits the idea that we cry, that we have problems, that we're woman, and that we don't endure any other um, feelings that anyone else has. So either one of those concepts, I really try not to buy into, because I am a black woman. I'm a human being. I get angry like anyone else, and I cry. Sometimes I am strong. I'm strong because there's no other option. But in me being strong comes a vulnerability as well, because I am a woman. I cry. I get angry. I get overwhelmed. I am all of those things. But to put me in a box is just, uncalled. I don't buy into that trope.
I thank you for that. All right, Miss Nicole. Angry black woman versus strong black woman. What's the difference?
I definitely have to echo the sentiments of the ladies that already went forth. I think that label has been placed on women, instead of just saying, hey, that's a black woman who happens to be angry, right? That's an emotion. And anybody, no matter what race, whatever gender you are, guess what? We all get happy, sad, angry. The problem is, if a black woman exerts herself in any platform, whether it's professional or personal, and it makes someone uncomfortable, they are now deemed angry. Whereas a strong black woman, I feel like, because we have to exert our strength, because we have all these labels, being bossy, being angry, being all these other things, we now have to put forth who we are, and we have to label ourselves as strong. And as it was already stated, look, we have all types of emotions. We can be happy, we can cry, we can get frustrated. But at the end of the day, Black women have to contend with so many things, especially as you mentioned earlier about professional, right? We're not even in the game when it comes to others in profession. So now I have to exert my strength a little bit differently. Being a mother, you have to exert your strength a little differently. Being a wife, you have to exert your strength a little differently. And so I feel like while it's a characteristic, we end up pushing it at the forefront of who we are because we're defending who we are as a Black woman.
All right. These are all very interesting concepts. I want to make sure I give my wife a chance to, how do you see it, sweetie?
I would agree with everything that everyone has said. However, I believe that it is other people's perceptions of us. We are women that feel those things, as everyone has indicated, but it's other people's perceptions, as you indicated, because we can be very emotional creatures because we say something or we respond, just like someone can say something and we respond a certain way, and it may make someone feel a certain type of way. And it's just like, oh wow, you really had to take it there. um and it's like, I just simply responded to what it was that you said, and it's just like, oh well, you really took it there. It wasn't that serious, but it's like, no, I just simply responded to what she said. I wasn't trying to go for the gusto, but it, for whatever reason, you took it there. But and it's just, how does that thing say on TikTok? Whoa, Jamal. It's like, I wasn't trying to take it there, but for whatever reason you took it there. And I have this saying, it's just, let's not excuse bad behavior. If the bad behavior is acceptable for this person, then we're going to excuse all of it. If we're going to call it out here, let's call it out there. But somehow it seems permissible. You know what I mean? Let's call a spade a spade.
Well, let me ask this question, specifically pertaining to the workplace. Do you feel like it is the perception of what an angry Black woman is, whatever that perception may be? Or do you feel more like maybe there's something in our culture that's acceptable with the way that we communicate with each other that may not be so much acceptable outside of it? And I may not have asked the question exactly right, but maybe you can see where I'm going. That's an open question. Who will want to jump on that first? Because I'm wondering what you think about that.
Well, I like to jump on that first. And I actually have a professional example. So, a couple years ago, there was a situation where a colleague, a female of another race, was carrying on quite disrespectfully. And, you know, we have a way as Black women where we can professionally give you the business and wear a smile. We don't have to cuss at you. We don't have to roll our eyes. We don't have to snap our fingers. And so basically, I gently um, corrected her. And then I was later corrected by a Black man. And his thing was, hey, come here, let me talk to you for a minute. He said, everything you did was right. However, you got to watch yourself because you don't want to be perceived as angry Black woman. You don't want, our colleagues to come back and say, you threatened her. I said, so let me ask you a question. Was I rude? He said, no. I said, was I loud? He said, no. I said, what about her? He was like, yeah, she was rude, blah, blah. I said, so why is it that you came to me, but you didn't come to her? And his thing was, well, we got to stick together. We got to look. No, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut out accepting poor behavior from any race and any gender. And don't pull me to the side as sister girl. And now you want to get me straight. No, I'm sick and tired of getting straight when we need to understand we're in a professional setting. So conduct yourself as such. And so I feel like it's a combination of both, being that the perception at the workplace is that if a Black woman exerts herself professionally, she is now bossy, angry, has an attitude. And then our Black counterparts, our male counterparts, now feel like they have to protect us or get us in this cultural, like, you my sister, you my. No, let's stop that, right? Because a black man can go in a room and conduct himself and show his hind parts and nobody's bothered. A white man can show all their hand parts and nobody's bothered. But then if a black woman comes in polished and professional, she's now angry because she used a few words that did not, wasn't no jargon, wasn't no slang. And now all of a sudden I'm angry. So I feel like it's a combination of both. As you can tell, this hits a nerve.
All right, Kim, I want to make sure I get you before you got to get out of here. Well, what do you think in the professional environment?
I love that example. I mean, because we've all seen it time and time again. And like she was saying, that it becomes like you're doing me a favor, but you're rewarding bad behavior, or you're ignoring bad behavior because you aren't addressing the problem. And it's so if I'm in a professional manner, then she should be looking at me, or you should be comparing the two and saying, hey, this is how you conduct yourself, not like that. So I don't get it. It's like you have an opinion. It's too much. You stand up for yourself is too much. It's almost like always taking the back seat. And so I have a scenario that occurred with my daughter, who's now 22. But when she was in elementary school, I believe, yeah, she was in elementary, and she was attending a predominantly white school in Alexandria, and it was a conversation that ensued between the two of them, and the girl kept getting in her face, and she was like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up." I mean, just over and over and over, but she was in her face. And then so my daughter said, if you step closer to me, I'm going to, and she had a cast at that time. She says, I'm going to take this cast and I'm going to shove it down your throat. I need for you to back up. So believe it or not, they tried to suspend my daughter, making a threat for being threatening, because she said, I'm going to take the cast and put it down my throat, put it down her throat. So when we were in a meeting, because of course, I had to go up there and show off that you're trying to suspend my child over that. And so you mean to tell me that because she's saying in a Valley Girl way, shut up, shut up, shut up, and getting all in her face, that's not threatening. You're in someone's face and you're telling them, you're commanding them to do something. And I said, now, you called it a threat that she said that she would put her cast down her throat. Can she physically do that? And they was like, no, but can she physically do that? So she can't even physically put a, a cast down her throat. So how is that threatening to the point that you're going to suspend her? We make those type of threats. I mean, it's language. And that's another thing that I think has is an issue between some of the races, like Hispanic women. You all know it. What do they say when Hispanic women are doing their thing? They have the attitude or whatever. They call them spicy. They're being spicy. Oh, she's spicy, this and that. But when we do it, it's an angry black woman. So how is that spicy? But we're the angry black women. Okay, but you think spicy is sexy, but having a woman that literally has your back from the moment that you leave the door to the moment that you come in, and we have your back, but we're the angry black women. But we're angry a lot of times because we are tired of seeing our people have things done wrong to them. So whether it's our husbands, we take it on. When it's our kids, we take it on. When it's our friends, we take it on. That's a lot. So that's that's my 2 cents on that.
Wow, I want to hear your 2 cents, Alyssa.
I believe that in corporate America, it is for us as women, especially Black women, the course that we have to navigate from the time we wake up, right? With not being able to wear our natural hair, right? We had to get a crown at just to wear our natural hair. So our day starts from the bathroom, right? So when you get there and you work in corporate America, you're already perceived. You've already filled out, you've gotten a job, you went through your interview, so you're qualified. You're here. You're qualified to be here. But somehow, yet and still, we still have to prove. We still have to prove that we're worthy. We still have to vie and fight for any little bit of any type of anything when you're on a job. So you can be in a room full of, I have been in a room, let me just speak. I have been in a room full of white men and women, the only African American, and I have to, they can go hit the desk. No, John, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not the way that this direction is going to go. And then the white woman can say, oh, please, Paul, you're just blowing it out of your, you know what? And they can do all of this. Me, with the best idea in the room, have to sit. Because if I engage in that pander, the whole room is going to, and it's going to be, and it could be just as simple. I could say the same exact words as Molly. I could say, oh, John, blow it out of your, and it, no. So the angry part, I believe, comes from a source of control, to stifle, to minimize, to put us, to keep us where we belong. And that is meek, small, and in these spaces. And so when you raise up or you say something maybe against discrimination or those little microaggressions that you get at work, if you say that, then you'll be angry. So you're most likely timid enough to just say, well, I'll pick my battles. You'll let some of those things go. So the control is, and I agree with Nicole, from Black men in the workplaces. Watch it. You don't want to be perceived as the angry. So that means shut up. What it really means is be quiet. Go someplace, have a seat, cool off, and continue on. But what the message that we're perpetuating is that you can treat us any kind of way, that you can exclude us, that you can, disavow whatever we have or any input that we have, because we didn't walk off the street to this corporation, right? We went through a hiring process. So you validated me by saying that I'm qualified to be here. So I
Right.
think that that's just a control mechanism. And we as Black women, we know what it means. So in order for us to get our careers and to take care of our families and to navigate life, we shy away, from that really giving your authentic and being your true authentic self. Because I can be angry with a smile on my face. I can put you in your place without even saying a cuss word or moving my neck or hand gestures. We know how to conduct ourselves, but we're so in this box that we get to the point where we're just like submissive and we're really quiet, and that moves on to other things, in our lives. But I've been in those situations in corporate America, being an African American woman.
Right. I'm gonna come back to you, babe. I'm gonna hit Kim because I know Kim's got to go in a few minutes. Kim, I'm gonna ask you this question first. Do you believe, and I'm asking to the rest of the panel also, do you believe that the strength of a Black woman may be misunderstood, and not just outside of the culture, but maybe even with Black men? And what I mean is that the control that Alyssa was alluding to, and I think Nicole really hit on that too. And I think for Pam and Kiona, I think we answered your questions in this exchange. But do you think that the strength of the Black woman is a little misunderstood, and this attempt to control is almost like trying to put you like into a cookie cutter type of role, because your strength and maybe your response, your talent, your skill, maybe it is misconstrued as aggressiveness and anger? Do you think that's it, or do you think it's something else?
I think that's definitely part of it, like a huge part of it. I do agree. Um, I also think that they may follow along with the perceived notion and the lie that it's an angry Black woman. And another part of it is I think that they even use that for an excuse to even date and marry outside of their race. Because if you hear what a lot of them say when it comes to dating black women or being with black women, is that you don't want to have all this attitude, or you don't want to have, an angry black woman. So I'm not exactly sure why, because it doesn't deter us. So I mean, like I feel that we collectively as black women are taught when we're young. So like, follow me here real quick. When we're young, we were taught to love, honor, respect, uphold, and support who? Our black men. We're taught that at a very young age. I don't know any of the panelists, you all, do you remember that talk where your grandmama, you respect the black man, and he already has enough to deal with out there in the world, so we honor and respect him. But a lot of times black women with our sons, we don't necessarily, not all of us, we don't necessarily groom them to love and respect black women. A lot of black women say, love who you love, which there's nothing wrong with that. But they say, love who you want to love, and don't let nobody trap you and all this other. It's just a very different way that we're talked to when we're young. So I think that it goes deeper. It's a deeper inference when it comes to black women, and it's some of it's from us and some of it's from black men.
Okay, I like that. How about you, Nicole?
So I would say that it's a combination of things. I think, if you go back to Black households, right, you have, you know, Aunt Big Mama, you have your mother and your aunt, and you have these examples of these strong black women that may be typically holding down the fort, right? As it relates to nurturing and supporting the household. If you look in the black community, you may have one black mother taking care of the neighbors and the neighbors' kids, right? Um, and so on one end, there is this strength far as upbringing the family. And so then you have this other layer where it's people might be intimidated or feel insecure about the strength that black women walk in. And strength is not just merely somebody's weak and somebody's strong. There is a ability to withstand force, pressure. There's ability to operate with excellence. There is a strength encompasses so many things. And so part of the challenge is, what are we labeling when we say women are strong, right? Are we now trying to assume and categorize them as the weaker one? So now we have to exert our strength because someone has called us weak? Or are we now saying that we're strong because we need to show you that we can operate with excellence, that we have been able to withstand under an immense amount of pressure and still excel? And I think we got to get to that definition, right? So that's one piece. You got that cultural upbringing, where people see demonstrations of strength, but then they also see demonstrations of that anger, if you will, right? That frustration. And we can't just be angry and just be angry like everybody else, And so I think it's that cultural dynamic. I think it's not clearly having defined, what do we mean when we say strong black woman? What does she mean, right? No one asked the question. We assume that it's, oh, well, you're strong because you're saying that you're not the weaker sex. No, I'm saying I'm strong because I have stood on the shoulders of others who went before me, and I have done some amazing things to get to where I am. And that's a piece of my strength, because I am weak at times. And I know that when I'm weak, God is strong inside of me. And so when I say I'm a strong black woman, it has nothing to do with being the weaker sex. And I think we need to get to that definition. So I hope I answered it.
You did, and then some.
Yes, a phenomenal job.
All right, Miss Middleton, what say you?
I'm sorry. I have to totally agree with Nicole 100%. We need a definition on when we say strong black woman, because we can't leave it blanket today, because you have people that's these younger ladies coming up, and we don't ever want them to feel like they're not living up to the ideal of a strong black woman, because what is the definition of a strong black woman? We have to make sure that we are clear when we are taking these conversations, and letting the younger generation and talking with the younger generation, because being a strong black woman is a really um, hard thing to live up to, right? Because then if you feel like you're overwhelmed and you feel, then you start feeling less than. Then when you feel like, because we don't have that, when you feel in pain, you go to the hospital. No one listens to black women when they go to get help, and hence our mortality rate coming for African American women's having babies 2.5 times more likely to pass, because when we complain of pain, we are looked at as that we're strong, we should be enduring, right? We should be able, oh, you don't need, you're okay, you're strong, you should. Or you go to your friend and or a family member or big mama and say, hey, this is what's happening, and I'm kind, oh, you'll be all right, just stay strong, just be strong. But and that's why I love Nicole saying that, because let's define that. I believe that we are all, as African Americans, strong. If we're just going to use a blanket statement, because we're still here after everything that we endured to be here. But to put that trope on women, and we got so much to carry, and to put that on women, to say, just be a strong woman. We are vulnerable. We're human beings. We're vulnerable. We cry. We get overwhelmed. We get depressed. We don't want to say that you're not being strong because you have those type of situations going on. So I agree 300% with Nicole. Let's define strong. We do have strong women and strong people who have overcome adversity, who have come out of certain situations and made it, who have excelled in their field. Yes, we want to celebrate that, but we want to make sure that we define what is a strong black woman.
All right, sweetie. Do you think that the black woman's strength is misunderstood? And just like Monica just asked, who's determining the definition? What do you think?
I think one is it is not, there is no definition. One, I think a lot of times it is this preconceived notion, because it is not determined. It's left to the determination of who it is that you're talking to versus who you're making this reference. The preconceived notion. I can look at someone and say, because she is Big Mama, she has this strength because she has overcome a lot of things. Or you can just say women in general, that women are strong because you have overcome a lot of things. I think women are multifaceted, so you have this strength. You can look at women or single mothers, because you are a single mother, you work, you go to school. It's so much that women endure, that you have to deal with. I once heard someone say, in reference to Black mothers, in making a comparison, and basically said, Black women, when making a reference, they were saying that Black women related closely to slaves, and they related closely to slaves because, when you were a slave, you were taking care of the children of the slaves. You had to make sure that you had to cook, you had to clean, you had to take care of your own family, you had to make sure that your husband was taken care of. You had to take care of the slave master when he was coming to see you in the middle of the night, in any and everything during the day. that's what a Black woman was relating to, because you had to make sure that your children were taken care of, your husband was taken care of, anything during the day, anything, a piece of you, there was somebody that was requiring a piece of you throughout the day. That's what a Black woman felt like, because it was relating back to a slave. And you think about that as a Black woman, and not saying that you can't relate to your Black brothers or your sisters, but think about that and let that sink in for a second. As a Black woman, you relate to a slave from back in the day.
That's a connection.
That is a connection, and that is, whoo.
Let me take it from this angle, and I promise y'all that I'm not trying to start no mess, but you know, some people say I started a mess when I came up with this show. But anyway, as it pertains from a Black man perspective, right? I know for years, and to be honest with you, my wife really just helped me with this year. Transparency, right? Whenever I heard a Black woman say, "Now I'm gonna let you know I'm a strong Black woman," for me that meant, yeah, I'm finna leave this chick alone, cause she is crazy. She gonna raise Cain about a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't want to fight. But I will tell you that with help and my perception of that, my wife really set me straight and to understand that, well, that could be true for some, right? I've seen some say that and act a fool. But I think a lot of times is an attempt to communicate what? I'm not going to try to define it. Kim, I know you're short on time. I'll start with you. When you are telling us that in our romantic relationships, what are you trying to communicate?
So it depends on the context, but kind of, I mean, you didn't lay the full foundation of what that context would be, but I mean, from what I was able to gather from what you said is that I'm not one to be played with. Like I'm not nobody's fool. That's what I would think. Like, I don't. Sometimes we need to let people know that I'm a dime all by myself. Like I'm a whole person all by myself. You accentuate, you add quality to my life, but I don't need you in order to survive. Like, because some people will assume that, if I were to leave tomorrow, then your whole life will crumble and you would just be so distraught and you just couldn't breathe and live anymore. But the truth is, I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong Black woman, which means that I have like Nikki, because I see Nikki. I I have other backs that I've stood on and I've paved the way for other people as well. So I don't need you in order to, or you don't define me. You don't define who I am. So I think something that I think would be great is, how do we go about labeling or defining what a strong Black woman is? Like, I would love for us to talk about that. And also I would love for you, Carl, to give, tell us what the strong Black woman, other than the, she's not to be met, that the strength in the name. What does the strength in the name represent for Black men?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that. Then I'm gonna come back to Elisa Nicole. I'm glad you asked that. I'm gonna tell you something, and I hope I don't get all teary eyed, because the Black woman is beautiful to me. Even what most would call an unattractive woman, I see such beauty when I see a Black woman, because I know her story. I look at my mama. I asked my mother, I think it was earlier this year, just thinking back on my childhood, me and my brother, my mom was hard on me and my brother, but not so much on the girls behind us. And I said, Mama, what was your thought process, in raising me and my brother? And this answer shocked me. She said, I was raising y'all in racist Chesapeake, Virginia. I was trying to keep you out of the hands of them racist cops, because they got your hands on you, they was going to kill you. So if I had to break your neck to make sure that you was going to act right and could come home, that's what I was going to do. That blew my mind. I said, man, she walked around with that on her chest. That's part of what make a Black woman beautiful. You think women have still not come full circle in the workplace. Great strides, but we still have inequality in pay. But Black women, by far, by the numbers, are way more educated than Black men. I think about the Black woman here in the DMV area. She's a professional. She may be an executive. She's making $200,000 a year. She owns a couple of houses. She owns a couple of cars. But if she's going to find a contemporary, how many single Black men are where she is? Now, if her preference is a Black man, how does she deal with, I'm going to have to accept a man who may not make what I make and have what I have, and I still got to be a woman and let him be a man and still help him to feel like the head of the household, a man and all that. I know I'm kind of rambling, but it's all this stuff that I observe about the sisters that make you all so freaking beautiful to me. So the question was, how do I see strength, or how do I define it? All this stuff I'm saying. And fellas, please understand, I am not trying to be silver tongue. I'm answering the question. I had no idea this question was going to be asked. But I tell my wife this all the time. She knows I talk about this stuff. I see beauty. And I'm going to say something here that's kind of off subject. I wish a lot of the brothers, especially the ones that got gray hair like me, when we come across these young sisters, we need to do a better job at being fathers and big brothers to them and not go the other way. I know this is hard for the community initiative. I'm not trying to get vulgar, but I think we all understand what I'm saying, right? Don't misuse her youth and her beauty. Mentor her. Be that father figure that she may not have. Be that big brother that she may not have. And I will tell you something. I am attracted to what others would call unattractive Black women. When I say attracted, I don't mean romantically or sexually. I mean, she got a struggle that's unlike anybody else's. When's the last time somebody hugged her and said, hey, girl, how you doing? You understand what I'm saying? When last time somebody touched her on the shoulder, included her in the conversation, included her, and let's go get some lunch? You're asking me a dangerous question, Kim. There's a lot going on with that. You know what I mean? So that's where I am with it. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do this show. This really was Alyssa's idea, but it's something that I've been thinking about for years. I'm like, man, we got to do this, because I'm sure there are some Caucasian brothers and sisters right now watching, trying to learn, because you've had a certain concept over the years about that angry Black woman. But now you got these 4 beautiful, successful sisters who are opening themselves up, being transparent on live broadcast, telling you what this is. And I hope that you listen. Kim, did I answer your question? Okay, cool. All right, Nick, Elisa.
Just real quick, thank you, because you're speaking from the heart of a man, and a very wise man. And it's beautiful to be able to hear that love and support, because honestly, we don't hear it enough. So
Look, I'm gonna tell you, and my wife's sitting right here. I don't mean no funny business. I love the sisters, and please, Asian women, Caucasian women, Latino women, take no offense. Take no offense. I'm not part of that race. I'm not part of that culture. I'm part of this one, and I'm very familiar with the struggle of this woman. And I have a special affinity to that. Wherever I see a Black woman, I see a sister, a daughter, a mother, a friend, until she mess it up. That's what I see. I forgot my original question. What I talking about? What question did I ask you, Kim? Lord have mercy.
Didn't I tell you I was getting old? I don't remember.
Your original question was about when you mentioned you told your wife
The
when
angry black
people
woman.
would say, I'm a strong black woman,
Well,
you'd be like,
since you
oh,
got the
don't
mic,
mess
go
with
ahead and
her,
speak on
she crazy and stuff. Sure, sure. But I really have to echo what Kimberly said, because I think and I'll speak for me, if I say I'm a strong black woman, it's because, first of all, I have to dismantle the myth that you already have about me being the weaker sex, being the angry black woman, being bossy, moody, and all those other things. So, one, I got to come in and let you know, listen, here's what it is. And then pretty much, look, I ain't no fool. This ain't what you want. Don't come up in here thinking you're going to carry on and get one over on me. So I profess my strength to let you know, yeah, it's not no nonsense going to pop off around here. It doesn't mean that I'm angry. It just means I'm serving you notice with a smile. Don't come for me, and I won't come for you. All right. Amen.
I can't take it. Go ahead, Alyssa.
I'm sorry. I thank you.
Y'all go ahead. I'll be right back.
That was that was good. And I'm just gonna say I did on that whole that whole scenario. But I just don't know why does that call left, because I was gonna ask him what was the strong, why was you so afraid of that strong when someone say it? Is it because they feel like the woman was too independent, or too feisty, or what
Oh, I
in
can
that
tell you.
statement made
It,
it?
we had an
Okay, let's
in-depth
go.
conversation about it in the past, when he had heard the statements about I'm a strong black woman. It was the fact that, most of the times when he had heard it, the individuals, more than likely, they were crazy. um so my conversations with him, what I had indicated, just because you hear a young lady that indicate, or from the standpoint of when I said that, and I said, for me, when I indicate that I'm a strong black woman, it doesn't come from a negative place. It indicates that I am a strong black woman.
Right.
It's because I have to be. In all situations, I am strong, even when I don't want to be. When I feel like giving up, I can't. When I want to be vulnerable, I have my moments when I have to cry. I'm going to cry enough tears. I'm going to get myself together, and I'm going to keep it pushing. Correct me when I'm wrong, or you can pick up where.
Well, like I was telling her, I had bad experiences when I heard that. For me,
Okay.
and I'm speaking from my experiences, not saying that my experiences are necessarily the truth, but it was my experience. When I heard that, it was it was always followed by some foolish behavior.
Okay.
And just like y'all saying y'all not with it, I'm all man and I need all woman. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need nobody that want to play games and try to use manipulation and control and all that kind of foolishness. I'm trying to get a joker. Boo boo.
Okay.
Come on now.
Yeah, I was asking because I was thinking, like, because usually men, I presume, want a strong black woman. They want a woman that is strong, that is a mate, someone who's supportive and helping. So when you said that you kind of shied away from the strong black woman, it kind of, that's why I asked the question. You were going though, but I asked the question because usually I would think that men would want a strong black woman.
Let me say this, and maybe this helps the audience too. Yes, I got a strong black woman. Y'all don't let the smooth taste fool you about Tisha now. It's some stuff y'all don't know. Anyway, but I ain't gonna tell on her. I'm not gonna tell you.
Strong.
But what we don't want is an unlearned woman, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We spoke earlier. You ladies put it so very eloquently about supporting your black man, right? I know what I'm talking about now. Many have not been taught. and there is so much tearing down. And here it is, you think that you got somebody who just came from an unfortunate circumstance, so you're going to work with her. What you don't know is the hustle being run on you the whole time. You understand what I'm saying? But it's being cloaked. You just can't handle this strong black woman. No, I can't handle a fool. That's called a silly woman.
Well, that's someone misusing the term strong black.
But that was my experience with it.
Okay.
But thank God for women like y'all. I've got a better understanding. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, here's another direction I want to go into, because I really want to hear from y'all as it relates to how we relate in relationships with our men, with your men. I don't have no man. I got with y'all. There's a little too much there. I want to make this very, very clear. We don't get down like that around here. But anyway, you all being strong women, how do you see that strength in relationship? And I ain't asking you to tell on your marriage or your current thing, but you've had relationships. How has your strength played to the better end of it? How has your strength caused the issue? Are the men in your life understanding of your strength and supportive of it? Alyssa, I'll start with you.
Well, I've found the latter, the beginning of that, because when it depends on the man, because some men can take the strength that they perceive, whatever, and feel that it is too much for them, because they start to feel less of. So it depends on the man. You have to be equally yoked, when it comes down to who you are and what you're looking for, because when you Jeanette, just made me lose my
I cannot with her.
When you have someone who is not ready for that and don't know how to deal with that, and Big Mama didn't teach them how to deal with a forward-thinking woman, a woman who is here because they may make less than you, but that's an issue that they can't handle. It's not an issue for you because you chose them. You wouldn't be here if you weren't chosen. So with a woman of a certain caliber, we're not going for anything less than what we know that we deserve. So if you have a man who cannot live up to those standards, then it's bye-bye buddy, because we're not playing games around here, right? And the second thing is, if you can't handle my accomplishments, because my accomplishments has nothing to do with you. If you can't, relish in my accomplishments with me, and and we live happily ever after, then again, it's bye-bye buddy, because we can't have the disconnect in the home. It has to be you have to be equally yoked to have that kind of peace in your home. So yeah, it takes us a man's man, a different kind of man, to be able to deal with a strong black woman.
All right,
God.
Good.
I concur wholeheartedly that when you are in a relationship and a marriage, that you have to be evenly yoked. If you are not, you run into the situation. Sometimes you run into situations that you have the potential to be. I'll put it to you like this. A real woman knows when she sees a real man, and a real man knows when he sees a real woman. If not, you have the potential to see a grown boy or a grown girl, and we'll leave that right there. And in those situations, you have to you have the potential to deal with people that they're trying to manipulate you, to try to run game on you, and they are going to stifle you, and they are going to try to control everything about you, and it's just not going to work. And that's what I have seen. Again, dealing with a real man, um, you can deal with an individual that supports you in all that you do. And, in all sincerity, you can work together hand in hand in all things, and can deal with you in all your strengths as a woman and as a man. There are many facets of who you are and your personality, and there are strengths and weaknesses. But when you're dealing with a partner, you can deal with all of that, and you can help each other in all of the strength, the weaknesses, areas of improvement. You can work together to for the betterment, and so you can flourish together.
That's
So
awesome. Hey, artists, I want y'all to keep on with the comments. This is awesome. Kim, Nicole, what do y'all think?
I'm gonna start with the least important and work my way to the most important.
All right.
And so, past relationships, I believe my strength caused some people to go on about their business due to insecurities, assumptions, not understanding, miscommunication, not fully explaining expectations, and then me not meeting whatever it was they had. Professionally, it's two sides. On one end, I find that there are some male counterparts that are intimidated by my strength, whereas there are others who celebrate it, especially in the profession we have, when it comes to having crucial conversations with senior leadership. They want me all in there, okay? Because they know I have a way of articulating a message, getting it across, being stern without being disrespectful, right? And so professionally, I get 50-50. Now, the most important relationship in my house, my husband, my boo, my daughter, our oldest, said to me a couple years ago, "Ma, only dad can love you." And she wasn't saying that being disrespectful. She was like, it's like a lot that comes along with you, right? And all that I do and all that I am, most people would be insecure or have some issue with it. My husband celebrates me and my crazy self, right? He celebrates all of my strength. I'm a Christian thug who cries and fights. Yes, all of that. And so there's a lot that comes
I
along
love
with
it.
me. A lot, right? But I love it because we are a beautiful covenant relationship where we complement one another. He's a whole man and I'm a whole woman, and we come together as one, and we just rock this marriage thing out. We're not perfect, but my God, we are perfect for one another. And I celebrate him for celebrating me. He does not feel insecure. He does not try to water me down. When I say, "Hey, let's go to the moon," he like, "All right, I'm gonna go get the gas. We're gonna get this shuttle and let's take off." Right? It's not a wait for me is my turn. No. And then when it's his turn, I'm all in. Right. And so I feel like it's such a beautiful thing because we're not in competition with one another. We are celebrating one another. And there is a level of honor and respect that I give him that he is due, that he should never have to feel insecure, threatened by my strength. And so with that relationship, I celebrate because I know many don't have that. And so Tisha, I celebrate you, sis, because look, you got your dude, he holding you down, he's celebrating you. And it is rare, but I think it goes back to what you mentioned earlier, Carl, that a lot of men aren't taught how to handle with care a strong woman.
I would agree. Miss Kim, what you got on that?
I mean, they covered it all, to be honest. I mean, it all. So, I mean, the only thing I would add to it is probably um, like I think a lot of times how we define relationships going into it, because I saw some of the comments from other women saying that, how they started out in relationships and things like that. And some it pushed away. And then, some learned from how to not be as you not having the fight all the time, the fight or flight type of personality all the time. So I grew up with my sister and I, my brother, we grew up with a very abusive father. So he was very abusive towards our mother. So the issue was when you see that, you have to determine what type of man that you want. So my father had to decide. I mean, my brother had to decide: was he going to be that type of man that he grew up experiencing, or did he grow up to be the opposite? And he was the total opposite of my father. And my sister and I, you gravitate as women to either people who are like your father or people who are not like your father. And so I'm blessed in that regard that I did not marry a man who was like my father. He's a very loving man, very family oriented. Everything the opposite of my dad, actually. I mean, everything that my father represented. My husband, Greg, is the total opposite of that. And I thank God for him. So, and then now we have, a son that we have to raise and daughters that we have to raise to make sure that we are oh gosh, is the word is on it. We're modeling those examples of what we want them to see and have. So that's all I wanted to add to that.
Okay, since we own this part, what do strong Black women, because I think we've already put to bed the angry Black women. I think we put her to bed real nice, right? I appreciate y'all. What does the strong Black woman look for in her mate? That's open. Whoever want to jump on that first. Go ahead, sweetie.
She looks for a man that is loving, patient, kind, compassionate, caring, a protector, a provider, a man that loves God, a man that doesn't mind going to work, a patriarch for his family. Let's see. Is there anything else that I missed? Those are the ones that I had.
Okay. Who want to take that on?
I just want to add on because she did a good job on that list. I would like to add authentic, vulnerable, sensitive, right? The ability to be transparent and just be okay with not trying to be perfect, but being okay with learning and growing. But yeah, Tisha, like she hit a lot of them, and I just had to say, yeah, ditto.
What you got, Elisa?
Well, I mean, they did an outstanding job. So the only thing that I would add is a communicator. I need someone who knows how to express themselves and be authentic in expressing and understanding and know how to have a real, honest, authentic conversation. Because sometimes you have men that come across a strong woman and they try to be more than what they are to please or to try to fit in, and and that's really a actuality, that's a turnoff. So you want someone who knows how to communicate and to be their authentic self. So I dittoed on Tisha and Nicole. That was my only
Ken.
add on.
Okay, so what I'll add to this one is not necessarily a personality trait, but a desire. So I think that it'd be great to have, and this is, any man, but especially for, Black women, because I'm a Black woman, so, but a man who is really desiring to learn your love language. You know what I'm saying? That to study you, to learn what it is that you want and what you need as a woman in general, because we all are different. Everybody has different love languages, and actually, some of us even have multiple ones. We may have a dominant or a primary, and we have a secondary. So having a man that really wants to take the time to find out, how do I love you? What is it that you need from me? And it's not to complete, but it's just to add to your life. Like, how can I add to you? Because life in general depletes us all. Like, as soon as we wake up and we hit that door, life is happening. And so we need a refilling. So find a man who's interested in loving you enough to love you completely and to learn how to love you.
Oh man, this is so refreshing. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna help Tisha out. She was talking about. I always talk about the 5 P's. When I'm talking to men, what we ought to be: the provider, the protector, the patriarch, the priest, and the prophet. Provider and protector, that's self-explanatory, right? But if y'all mind if I take a minute here, since we're talking about the strong woman. Of course, we know that many of our women are in the workforce and make just as much, if not more, than us. But still, it is it's his chief responsibility to provide. If me and Tisha lose this house, ain't none of y'all gonna call her and ask her what she did wrong. Y'all come looking for me, right? How you let that happen? Right? So you got to provide, protect. I was just talking to my daughter the other day about, baby, I got to protect you. And I was the youngest, and you can't get in my way, right? You got to let me protect. So listen to what I'm telling you, not just from physical danger, but part of that protection is teaching. You know what I mean? Knowing. The priest, the man has to be the man of God in the house, guiding prayer and study, and creating a great Christian loving atmosphere in the house. The prophet is the seer. The man of the house has to have vision for his family. You know what I mean? And the patriarch, you must be the father, not only to your children, but the children that your children bring around, the children in your neighborhood. It's some single mothers out here who see you out in your yard, see you walking, see you playing with your kids, and they want to push their child over there so they can have some semblance of a father. We got to be a patriarch. And I think for any man who will embody that, when he run across a sure enough woman, if he's a single man now, I'm talking about no funny business, let me clarify. If he's a single man, a real woman gonna recognize that. And I think that in a marriage, and I used the word unlearned earlier, and I don't want to sound too harsh. Some of us come to the table having not been taught. That's what unlearned is. But unlearned doesn't mean that you're going to be that way forever. And I don't want to down talk the sisters. But when you come to the table unlearned, you can't be stubborn. Don't be a silly woman. Don't be a silly woman. Be a strong woman. Be a smart. Don't be a silly woman. Let your husband teach you. There's a lot of things your husband can teach you, especially if he come from a good background. Get with other strong women who are learned and who are experienced, and be their understudy. But I'm saying these things because I want these relationships to work. Some of the brothers having a hard time with y'all strong sisters now. And I'm just hoping that this conversation is bringing out some very tangible things. We're over an hour. We got all these comments rolling. I'm going to try to put as many as possible. But what I want to do in this closing round before we get off of here, I just want to give all of you a chance to do 2 things. Number one, to give your closing comments for anything that we may have covered, may not, something that you want to tell the audience. And also anything that your business, anything you need to promote, here's your chance to. We'll go with Nicole, we'll go Elisa, and then Kimberly.
All right, all right. So one, my closing thing is I think it's very important when with dealing with a Black woman to understand that she doesn't have to be labeled an angry Black woman. She could be a woman who happens to be happy, sad, angry, frustrated, tired, or whatever. But that is not indicative of her character. And so don't be so quick to label someone angry Black woman. Let's begin celebrating the strength of a woman, but have a conversation with her to find out what does she mean by strength? Because a lot of people have a different definition. I know for me, it's about excelling and being excellent at what I do. Um, I believe that we are all created for a purpose, on purpose. And so when I say I'm a strong Black woman, because I'm Black, is because I used to be a single mother for 10 years, going to school full time, working full time, and just trusting God to do a work, right? And now I'm married, 3 kids, and still doing a mighty work. And so I celebrate my strength, not to boast, not to be arrogant, but because I have gone through. And I think we need to make sure we don't look at somebody's strength as a negative thing and stop labeling Black women as angry. All right. But if you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me at www.iamnike.com. That's iamnicke.com. And you can find out all things about me. All right. Thank you so much, Carl, for having me for Call's Conversation.
Thank you so much, Miss Nicole. All right, Miss Elisa, tell us something, my dear.
I just want to leave with we need to put the stereotypes to rest. We even need to somehow embody them at work to let people know that you are maybe upset or you are, but do not put me in this box. I think that we should be our authentic selves. If 2020 has not taught me anything, it's taught me that I have to move forward in my career and in any aspect of my life as my authentic self. So if I am angry, I know how to control my anger. I know how to let you know I'm angry. But this year, for the first time in my career, I was able to be my authentic self because I chose to. I chose not to diminish my anger or diminish my concerns or not to speak up. I spoke up for the first time in many, many years. I'm a woman of a particular age, so I've been in the workforce for a long time and it felt good and it was received. So I think that if we can break our own selves out of this stereotype, as we have done over many years with many stereotypes that has been placed on us, I think moving forward, as long as we move in our authentic selves and be who we are and stop making ourselves small, stop making ourselves quieter or meek, say what you have to say. You're a professional. You have this, you're in this building for a reason. You were hired, so you have the credentials. So even if you are angry, you know how to be professionally angry. I think it's time for us moving forward to break out of this box, break out of these chains of all of these labels that are placed on us as Black women. So we can be strong, we could be vulnerable, we can be angry, we could laugh, we could joke. We don't need labels, any more labels on us. Just and that's what I would say moving forward. And coming up for Christmas, Kim Cummings, myself, and Crystal Harmon are actually launching Help a Family through the Stafford Junction. You can find that on my Facebook page, Elisa Middleton, if you would like to donate to help a family in need for this Christmas.
Thank you so much, my sister. I appreciate you. Miss Kim.
Yep, yep. um, So, in closing, I really am, I appreciate this whole conversation. It was awesome and it was needed. So, thank you, Alyssa, for suggesting this to be a topic. And I would like to take it a step further and go with like having the men next because in order to dispel the myth and the lie about angry Black women. It's a whole groundwork that needs to be done. So it would be great to have a conversation with Black men to find out where is this stemming from, where did they learn it from, and how can we unlearn this label? Because I mean, just because it's a label, it's still a learned behavior. It's a learned thought, and so we have to disband it so that we're teaching our children and our sons and our daughters. Really?
I love it. That's a strong black man.
Yeah, right. He bombed me. Okay. So, um, just disbanding it. And I think it's work that we have to do. And in order to do the work, we have to have these tough conversations. So, um, I just love it. And so my sister mentioned that I'm an inventor, which I am. I have over 40 invention ideas. I'm a product developer, and I am working on my first completion of a patent, provisional patent application. I want to go into doing royalties. So, like you may see Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank, where he talks about wanting to do the royalty deals, where I license the rights to my inventions and my ideas and my product, and they then take it on and sell it in stores, and I get checks off of that. So, wish me luck on making a whole bunch of money in 2021.
All right. What I'm before right before my wife gives her closing, I'm gonna tell you now because y'all asked for it. I'm gonna work on that program with the fellas. So, fellas who are watching, if you want to be a part of a panel where and I'm gonna have some women up here too. Now we're gonna get this thing together. All right, I'm for real, and we can come together and work it out. This is really important information. You never know who we're helping with this. That's why I'm doing it. All right, go ahead, my dear.
I think it really is important to add to what you're just saying. I think it's very important to get the men's aspect on it, because you can't just have the input to say a strong, independent black woman. You want to have strong black men, and the input of and support of the black woman. As always, it's good to be on the show and with the panel of ladies as well. It's always good to have you beautiful sisters up here. And I look forward to being up here with you ladies again in the near future.
All right. Well, listen, I certainly appreciate you all. The panel, you guys are just awesome. I could not have asked for a better panel, and the answers and the comments and everything. I think that we really help some people with that angry black woman versus strong black woman. Like I said, I think we put the angry black woman to bed so nicely. We've tied a bow on her ankle. I also want to be very thankful to my audience. Audience, you were awesome with all of your comments and your input. I really truly adore you, and thank you for hanging in. You give me great confidence, to want to do something. I really appreciate it. And I think with Damon here, you want some input from black men raised by single black women. Count me in. All right, Damon. All right, I know how to find you too, bro. Damon gonna be on the show with me later on. Listen. Episode 2 of the new series of A Real Talk for Women will be coming this Sunday evening at 6 p.m. I think that date is the 13th, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to be talking about dating after divorce, single parenting, and blended families. I put together a panel for that, and so we're dealing with some real stuff. Episode 3, and I'm not going to announce that date yet because I think I'm going to have to move the date. Episode 3 is going to be mothering incarcerated and or abused children. So we're dealing with some tough stuff, but I think that you all would agree that it's going to take these kind of conversations to move us along, as we deal with racial injustices and all that kind of stuff. Those are things that we're dealing with on the outside, but there's some things that we got to deal with on the inside. And I don't mind having this discussion on a live broadcast for everybody to see, because everybody's going to learn something about us. And sooner or later, they're going to learn that we are not all the nasty little labels that they have labeled us. That's one of the reasons why I'm out here. So, ladies, you could have been doing a lot of things tonight, but you spent this time with Tisha and I. We appreciate it. Heart for the Community Initiative. I certainly hope that you appreciate this installment of the Heart for the Community Initiative series, our interview series. I know this is kind of a risque subject, But a real talk for women, Tisha and I talked about this when I first started. We both agree if we're going to do it, we got to do it. We can't play with it. And I think these women will agree. We did it tonight.
Yes.
Ladies, thank you. You all have been on my platform before. You all are welcome anytime. So if I'm doing something and you won't end, just hit me up. I'll send you the link. All right. Until next time, like I always say, may God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. Y'all have a good evening. The Lord loves you, and I do too. Have a good evening.